G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. And why am I dressed up like this? Well, it looks cool. It's not really cool. It is hot. It is blazing hot. Let me go ahead and take this off. Yeah, this helmet is hot, and so is the vest, but I will keep the vest on to spare you the noise of the Velcro. Yes, we are going to be winding the clock back to 1984 and taking a look at the 1984 G.I. Joe Halo jumper. Ripcord. Halo stands for High Altitude, Low Opening. He is G.I. Joe's paratrooper. Not to be confused with the other paratrooper that came out for G.I. Joe. Had his name right there on the tip of my tongue. It wasn't Ripcord. But anyway, he was a rescue. He was a PJ, pararescue jumper. Airborne was his name. So he was another rescue jumper for G.I. Joe. But this is the Halo jumper. Being Halo, he would jump from a very high altitude, and he would free fall for quite some distance, and his parachute was set to automatically spring open at a certain altitude. Why was it set to spring open? Well, oxygen is very thin up in the higher altitudes, and most likely you would be passed out up there. So your chute would pop open for you. And when you come down, the air starts to thicken up a little bit. Get a little more oxygen in your blood, even though you are breathing oxygen as you are coming down through your oxygen mask. You start to wake up, your brain gets fed, a little more oxygen, and you wake up. If you think of the movie Predators, at the beginning scene where you see Adrian Brody falling through the sky, passed out cold, and he has a chute on, and it pops open, and he's like, what in the heck is happening? That was a Halo chute. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Ripcord. So let's flip the camera around here. There we go. I even have the blueprints for the G.I. Joe parachute pack here in the background. That was a complete accident that it was back there. I just had it set up behind my laptop just to get it out of the way. Purely accidental that these two happened to be together. But anyway, it's been quite a long week, so I'm sorry for this review getting out to you guys late. Just been a busy week for me. So let's go ahead and take a look at his accessories. He has quite a few of them. Let's go ahead and take these off. My fingers are a little sore. hard to get this mask off. Gizzle Shizengar. Pause the camera. Find his helmet. Yeah, it's just been a busy week for me. Just getting things done around the house. So, recovered his helmet. I'm not going to take his parachute pack off because it's a pain in the butt to get it back on. So we'll just take a look at it. Let me see if I could get the... There we go. Get the flash to work. His suit is a camouflage jumpsuit that he's wearing. It's a tiger, not really tiger stripe, but just it's a woodland camo jumpsuit. He has black gloves and black boots. You can see the parachute harness there, and he has some gear here on the front of the parachute. This little hole here on the front of the parachute pack is where you plug in the mask that fits over his face, and that's where you would get, that's where he gets his oxygen. And I am just dropping stuff everywhere. So that plugs in there. You could see some sculpted on buckles here on the front. He has a couple pouches, or a pouch there, and you see a few more buckles up here on his shoulders. Flipping around to the back, you could see the parachute itself, or the pack itself, with an unopened parachute. Nice design there. He is wearing a harness that goes down in between his legs, done in a darker green color than the rest of his uniform, and he has bellows pockets on his side of his legs filled with more equipment. Auburn hair, and his eyes are painted the same color, and eyebrows are the same color as that short hair on him. You can see he's yellowing a bit on his arms. That's a common problem with poor Ripcord. He comes with this black helmet. This is an exact replica of a jump helmet, that an older style jump helmet that the U.S. military wore. This is just a simple throwaway helmet. Once they land, this gets buried with the parachute. Plain and simple. They don't need it anymore. It's gone. Helmet gets buried along with the rest of the equipment. And this is his oxygen mask, done in black soft plastic. You can see the lens. Yeah. Neighbor's dog. Can't stand that mutt. Gets out all the time. Lens here on the front. And you see a little regulator there on the mask. And corrugated hose on the front. And on the back here, it has a clasp that it hooks through. It slips right through. It's a buckling type system that secures the mask. Sometimes you'll find this on the aftermarket where this is broken. This part of the mask is broken. And last but not least, he comes with this machine gun. This is a real world machine gun. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life, But this is not really a paratrooper's machine gun. If it were, it would be a lot smaller and it would have a collapsible stock. But this is a real world weapon. It does have a handle to carry up at the top. Very nice looking weapon, done up in OD green. I always liked the way this machine gun looked. Just the design of it alone, it goes good with him. Very cool action figure. We got a lot of play time with Ripcord, simply because of his camo. Anybody who was camouflaged got plenty of play time with us kids. Plain and simple. A lot of fun. Just a quick memory. My friend John had him, of course. And on the back of his head, on his Ripcord, the back of his head had a burn mark where it was too close to a nightlight and it burned the back of his head. That's how unsafe light bulbs were. Night lights. These were night lights that were kept by children's beds at the time. That's how hot these light bulbs got. It melted plastic. And I remember it singed my brother had a teddy bear whose face got too close to a nightlight, and it singed the fur off of a teddy bear. So these were very hot light bulbs that were kept close to our beds. We were not too good to get hurt back in the 80s and 70s. So the Ripcord we played with had a burn mark on the back of his head, so we called him Bernie. All right, so there you have it, Ripcord from 1984. Sadly, we did not see another Ripcord in the vintage line. He was it. He didn't get any screen time either in the cartoon that I could recall. And that's a real shame. He's a great action figure. I mean, look, you can't see him anymore. Oh, it's camouflaged. Very cool action figure. I still enjoy this guy. You know, they did a good job with him. The camouflage alone. And for me, that opened the door for more parachute, more paratroopers, I should say. So when Sky Patrol came out, I just lost my mind. I was in high school when Sky Patrol came out, but I did not give a rip. Honestly, I didn't care. They were Joes with a real working parachute. So I bought one. Had a lot of fun with it. Don't have the parachute anymore, but I have the action figure. I wish I had the parachute that was available during the mail-away parachute. I wish I would have had that as a kid. But we didn't do the mail-aways very often. Just the expense of it, having to buy several action figures just to get the flag points and all that. Just couldn't afford it. So anyway, those were my childhood memories of him. Was Ripcord having a burn on the back of his head. And us playing with him simply because he was camouflaged. John's backyard had grass in it, which is more common now than it was back then. More people have lawns out here in Arizona, which I think is silly because it uses up a lot of water. Yeah, they're beautiful, but we got to conserve water. We're in a drought. We finally have rain. Had rain yesterday and day before, after 150 some days of no rain at all. Longest drought in history, I think they said it was. So desert landscape for me, perfect for Dusty, and the Ostriker. The camouflage Joes were perfect. He had shrubbery and all this other stuff, so the camouflage Joes were the best. Stalker and Ripcord, and then who else? Lightfoot, when he came out. It was great just having those guys with the camouflage. Even Flint with the camouflage pants. That qualified to be and even Recondo to be in the bush out there in the camouflage, out amongst the shrubbery, going on missions. So anyway, that was our playtime, man. Great memories. That's why, part of the reason why I do this, or outside of preserving the history of these toys on video, but to share these memories. And just doing this resurrects those feelings. It's great. It really is. I don't ever recall seeing this guy on the shelves. Never ever did I see him on the shelves. I would have bought him because he's a freaking paratrooper. So that's a must. Divers and paratroopers were my go-to, and snow Joes. So anyway, you guys, you take care. We'll see you next week. Sorry this one came out so late. But we'll see you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. Until then, take care of yourselves. Be kind to everyone. You never know what kind of day somebody's having. An ounce of kindness does go a long way for someone's having a rough day. Be kind to animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. Until next week, which is tomorrow. So one of these, someday next week, we'll see ya for another G.I. Joe toy review. And I gotta take this blasted vest off. It is blazing hot. See you later. Bye-bye.